Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today we're going to talk about 90 Day The Single Life Season 4 Episode 2, Tyray's First Date. Now, just like with every other video, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing. Like this video, leave me your comments so I know what you thought about this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom does the 90 Day franchise. All right, let's get started. We have Tyray, we have Chantel, we have Natalie, and Veronica. So let's get started with Tyray. Now, on last week's episode, we saw Tyray ask his crush Tiffany out for a date. Now, Tyray says that this is his first official date with someone. He has set up a date at a nice restaurant. And of course, Tyray wants everything to be perfect. Now, in confessional, production asked Tyray about making the first move. And he gives a nervous laugh and goes, no, I think she should make the first move. Now, in my opinion, since Tyray, this is your first date, I think it would be up to you, since you asked her out, to make the move, to ask what the next step is, what the suggestion is, whether it could be to go on another date or maybe a nightcap at the end of the evening. You never know. Like they say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So at the restaurant, Tyray picks up the reservation. He's sat down at the table and he orders a drink, and he just looks real uncomfortable because, you know, his date's not there. She's not answering a text. He makes a call. She's not answering a call. And he says, I wonder if this is normal. When we see the time on his phone, it says 8:10. Of course, that's not normal, someone not to answer your call or text. So you don't know if someone really ghosted you or something really happened. But even the waitress said that she felt bad for Tyray. He was so happy when he walked in. She goes, even I was thinking about, well, maybe I should sit down for a date with him because I feel so bad. Well, Tyray kept looking around and Tiffany never came through the door, and he's crushed. You know, this is not the way he felt his first date would go. And on top of that, he's known Tiffany through a friend previously, so they're strangers, but not really. So, I mean, if they run around the same friend group, I mean, I don't know. I wonder how that's going to go on in the future. All right. Let's move to Chantel. So Chantel is still in Greece on her vacation. Okay, she says she's looking for a Spartan type man. So it's the next morning. Chantel in confessional said, last night was wild, but it's easy to get caught up in a fantasy. And she's not trying to think about the guy who dragged her down for 7 years, when she's just trying to come out to Greece, enjoy yourself, and have fun. My thing is this: it's okay to go have fun and let loose. You're no longer married, things like that. But Chantel's even saying that she doesn't want to get caught up doing the same old things. And of course, the divorce crew is pumping Chantel up. It's like, yeah, girl, you do this, you go get those numbers, you go have fun, you know, you shake your thing, you young, you free, you do whatever. But slow your roll. I think the divorce crew is going to put Chantel in a situation, because Chantel's not really thinking. She just wants to be out having fun, that they're going to get her caught up and put in a situation where she really doesn't want to be in. All right, so one of her friends have set up a activity on an olive farm. You know, you pick olives and different little things like that. Well, Chantel said in confessional, she said, you know, I really thought we were going to maybe pick the olives or be fed olives, you know, like people feed you grapes or something like back in the day, and drink wine. So they went ahead with the activity anyways and pressed the oil off the olive. But why though? The owner of the olive oil plant, or whatever it was called, make a suggestion of like, yeah, how about we all go out later to dance and have drinks? Is that allowed, fraternizing with customers? But I guess, I mean, who's gonna check them? Well, guess what? Chantel and the divorce crew, when they meet up with the guy, he also has a friend that's a little bit younger. Is it just me? If it's not just Chantel's divorce crew in it for the 15 minutes of fame, but so is the olive oil farm person. So Chantel seems like she's attractive to the younger friend of the guy. And you know what? Chantel says, he looks good. She's never experienced European men. She says that her cookies have been locked away for 6 months. She's young. She's sexy. She's in her prime. Why not? I'm thinking there's lots of reasons why not. And the biggest reason is why you were crying last week after the night out, thinking about the other guy you met because he reminded you of your ex Pedro. But that's just me. Well, Chantel ends up dancing with the guy, and I think his name is Giannis. Giannis says, why don't we go have a drink and sit down? So Chantel says, yeah, that's fine. So they sit down privately and talk. But Chantel looks like the drink she's had has already started to take effect. She's talking, having conversation, but her words are just a little bit slurred. And if they're all having drinks, I didn't see any food, that would make sense. So, well, again, the vibe is vibing. Chantel and the guy ended up exchanging numbers, and that was it. Chantel and her friends had a good time. They left for the evening, and Chantel says she's excited to meet someone new, but she also goes on to say in confessional that she hopes that with her opening up to finding that someone new, that she hopes that there's red flags that she's not being able to see. And I'm like, boom, you just said it right there. Red flags are your heart isn't fully healed. And guess what, Chantel? Red flags don't turn green. All right, let's move to Natalie. So it's the next morning from Natalie. Now, last week when we saw Natalie and Josh was talking to production. Natalie was supposed to have gone up in the elevator back to her room when all of a sudden you hear her voice come out over talking Josh and telling him that what she don't appreciate XYZ when he's in confessional. Well, Natalie and her mother have moved to California to be closer to Josh and to pursue her dreams, which she feels like, I don't know, she wants to model or something like that, but she feels maybe the best place for her is in California. Well, when we see Natalie, she's walking on the beach. She says that she's upset with Josh. She doesn't understand what's going on. She gave up everything for him. Leave it to Natalie. She's always given up everything for everybody, right? Again, for me, in my opinion, I think Natalie just wants to be on the come up. And when she doesn't get what she wants, the spoiled brat tantrum comes out on Natalie. Well, Natalie shows production all the calls on her phone that's missed from Josh. I mean, Josh was blowing her phone up because it seemed like there was at least 30 calls back to back. Well, Natalie decides that she's going to go ahead and give Josh another chance, right? Yeah, she's going to give him another chance. She knows she needs Josh. What else is she here in California for? She's trying to move forward in her relationship and get whatever it is that she wants to get, right? So she calls and Josh is like, hey, I'm glad you finally called. And the way that Josh answered, it was like as if nothing happened, as if this was the first time that he heard her voice this morning without the fiasco that happened the night before. So Natalie says, oh, I'm so mad at you, Josh. I don't know what to do. You know, I gave up my life for you and this is how you treat me. And Josh says, you know what? Things did get a little bit out of hand last night and I apologize, but I'm glad that you called and maybe we can go out later to look for apartments. I'm still looking to help you out while you're here, you and your mom. And so Natalie says, you know, I understand that my emotions get in the way and I have to get in control of those. So, you know, I would like to have, you know, more meaningful conversations and adult conversation. And this is a good start. So I'm sorry too. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, whatever it is you got to do to get Josh to come around. But Josh is already telling you he's going to help you out anyway. So take the help. Well, when we see Natalie and Josh later in the afternoon, he does pick her up to go look at apartments. But when they get to the first apartment, Natalie's looking around like, this is way too small. And in a way, I mean, for Natalie and her mom, and to me, what Natalie's looking for, in my opinion, is too small for her. Me personally feels that Natalie wants Josh to like put her up for real, for real. Like Natalie wants to be kept. She don't want like a regular apartment. Natalie's given like penthouse, condo, townhouse status, kind of like what the Jasmine from the 90 Day with Gino wants and gets from Gino. The same is not happening for Jasmine over here. So as she's looking around, and Josh is too, he's like, oh, you could put a sofa bed in here and you could put this over there. Natalie, her face drops again. She's having a tantrum. She just hasn't said out loud. She hadn't rolled on the floor yet with that tantrum. She's like, well, how much do you think this costs? I have to watch my money, things like that. Again, all these hints are being thrown at Josh. Josh is going in one and out the other. Josh is not thinking about Natalie and her hints. Josh only cares about seeing her when he wants to see her and scheduling sexy time like they did last week. So he goes, hey, so-and-so, because apparently Josh knows the agent that's showing the apartment. He's like, how much is the place? So they say it's like $2,600, something like that, for like maybe a 1.5 bedrooms or something like that, or maybe it's a studio apartment. I don't know. So Natalie says, no, like, what does it cost to get in here? So the agent says, we pull your credit check and different little things like that. Natalie says, I don't have credit. I'm from Ukraine, all this other stuff. So the agent goes, oh, no. We have people that have come here to rent apartments and they don't have credit. They would just need a guarantor. So Natalie asked Josh, would you be my guarantor? Like sucking up to it now, in my opinion. And Josh goes, we'll have to see. I don't know. I have to think about it. So, which was a big hesitation. And yeah, he doesn't want to. Now, when we see Natalie and Josh, right after that scene, they're in confessional together, and Josh is explaining that he's not sure where they are in their relationship. He wants them to be a little bit further along before he can even feel comfortable with having a joint anything. And Natalie calls BS on that. All right, finally, let's move to Veronica. Veronica's 37 from Pillow Talk, most recently with Tim, who is 43, who's also Veronica's ex and bestie. Well, Veronica is dating Jamal, who's 27, who is Kim's son, and Kim is known for being on the 90 Day franchise before with Usman, better known as Soulja Boy. Now, Veronica in her confessional says she's an independent woman. She says she's kind of like a Cher in her age. She said that she's historically quick to jump into relationships. She said she was married at 20 years old and has a 16-year-old daughter, Chloe, from that relationship. And then not soon after she divorced her first husband, she jumped in a relationship with Tim, and they were together for 7 years. And after they broke up, she said she was just dating around for 8 years. It didn't work out because this guy has a ex-wife and kids as well, and I think his name was Brandon, and he didn't want to give up. I think Veronica wanted him to move to North Carolina, where she's from, and not go back and forth to where his ex and his kids are, and that didn't work out. Now, when we see Jamal, Veronica is at his house in San Diego. He's making breakfast, and Veronica is telling Jamal, hey, I really don't like eggs, but thank you for making breakfast. How come you don't text me like you should? Like, you go like days at a time without communication. We need to keep the relationship going forward and have better communication. And so Jamal is telling her, he said, if I text every day, then what do we have to talk about? He goes, I'm a face-to-face person, so, it doesn't mean I'm not into you. And I'm like, you know what? Right there is a red flag. Now, also in confessional, Veronica says that she wants to settle down. She wants to be married, fairy tale type life, but Jamal just isn't there yet. Now, along the way, Veronica says her and Jamal have decided to try to make things exclusive, but again, nope. Red flag. Once again, for the second time this episode, red flags do not turn to green. Now, when the scene moves back to Veronica and Tim, Veronica says that Jamal had went home to San Diego because I guess they take turns going from San Diego to Charlotte to visit each other. Veronica is taking Tim to a singles mixer, and Tim is asking her about how things are going with Jamal, and it turns out that Veronica says things are going good, but Tim says, how are things going good? How are things exclusive when Jamal still lives at home and he doesn't have a job? I'm like, what? That was even before I even said red flags don't change to green. I mean, I guess it's okay to live at home depending on what you're doing, but he doesn't have a job, so maybe he's finishing college or trade school. Hopefully he's doing something, not just like couch surfing with his mom or whoever else he's living with. Well, Veronica gets upset about this. She goes, well, it's only a problem for me to date younger and have someone who doesn't have a job. It's okay for you. And Tim's like, no, I didn't say that. And on top of that, I'm not the one with the 16-year-old. That's you. Moving to that singles mixer, Tim is uncomfortable. He's saying he doesn't really drink. He doesn't dance. So what's he going to do here? Veronica is pushing him out there like, you never know who you going to meet. I think she was like, yeah, Tim, you do this, or you leave me and my relationship alone because you're always meddling and nitpicking. Tim gets out there. I mean, it's Tim's personality that gets him along with other people. I mean, you either vibe with his personality or you don't, because he's pretty upfront with what he's saying. And I think that's his energy. Like I said, you either vibe or you don't. Well, guess what? Tim actually runs into someone by the name of Louisa, who he said he actually met a few years ago online, but things never panned out. So here they are. The universe have brought them together. And Tim goes, hey, Louisa, how you doing? So they both decide to sit down and get comfortable together. Tim suggested, hey, why don't we go out for a date or something after here, get to know each other better. After a slight hesitation, Louisa goes, yeah, that'll be fun. I was like, really, Louisa? Do you think it's going to be fun? But she said she would go anyway. So, all right, everyone. That was the end of this episode. Next time, we're going to see Olive Oil's friend invite Chantel and her friends to his hometown. We're going to have Miss Debbie. She's back, and she said she's telling her son Julian that she met a guy on a dating app. She said that she was 57 instead of 67, and all the guys came flocking because I guess they like a younger woman. I guess it depends on what dating site you're on. And then we have Tim taking Louisa out on that date. And then John, also known from Pillow Talk with his brother Patrick, who's married to Thais, that was on their own season 90 Day, going on his first date. And then Josh taking Natalie and her mother out to dinner. And Natalie's mom is not happy with Josh because she's still salty about being left at the airport and no real place to stay. So, all right, everyone. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share. And until next time, everyone, live simply, be grateful.